10 years in the palace. I've become a veteran palace maid. My greatest skill is lying flat. The new emperor ascended the throne and carried out a personnel optimization. There was a lot of fear and panic in the palace, everyone was in danger. But I was overjoyed. Optimization, that's great. Hurry up and optimize me out. The Imperial Household Department will as usual give 10 taels of silver as severance pay. Enough for me to buy 2 mu of barren land in the countryside and raise an old hen. I can lie around and bask in the sun all day. Just as I was fantasizing, Sister Shang, the head of the Imperial Wardrobe Department, called my name. Lu Shu, you stay. My heart skipped a beat. I lingered and stayed. I forced a fawning smile. Sister, what do you command? Sister Shang looked me up and down. Lu Shu, you've been in the palace for 10 years, haven't you? Yes. Sister has a good memory. 10 years and still a third-class palace maid. Your needlework is mediocre. Your hands and feet are not nimble. You are also lazy. I nodded like pounding garlic. Sister is right to criticize. I will reflect deeply. I'll pack my bags and leave now. Reflect on what? Where are you going to pack your bags? Sister Shang glared at me. You wish. The higher-ups have given an order. Those with over 10 years of seniority are not to be easily moved. I was stunned. Shang said impatiently. What do you mean, ah? The new emperor's ascension emphasizes stability. If all the old servants of 10 years leave, who will understand the palace rules? Who will train the new recruits? You a tough nut to crack. Your work is not outstanding, but you never cause major trouble. You are the most reliable. Stay and hold the fort for me. Train the new recruits. Do you hear me? It's like a bolt from the blue. My severance pay, my barren land, my old hen, my sunbathing all went down the drain. I feel like my life has lost its direction. Sister Shang patted my shoulder. Work hard. Get through this period of turmoil. Maybe you can even be promoted to second class. This made my face look even uglier. Promotion, who cares? More work and no more money. Only a fool would get promoted. Fine, you won't let me leave, right? Then I'll completely slack off. And so my slacking off routine officially began. The first move, precise timing. I will never do more than necessary. I will always step into the Imperial Wardrobe Department at the last moment of the evening bell. Quitting time at Yushi. I'll pack my small needlework basket half an hour in advance. My eyes will be vacant, staring at the sun, just waiting for Sister Shang to say, dismissed. I'll immediately turn into an arrow shot from a bow. If I stay a second longer, I lose. I'll be gone in a flash. Second move, safe slacking. Skillful, the work assigned to me. For example, sewing the hem of a sleeping gown, sewing on a button, ironing a not so important handkerchief. The speed must be perfectly controlled. Too fast makes me look eager. They'll give me more work next time. Too slow, we'll be scolded by Auntie Tanxiang. So I maintain a pace that's just enough to avoid mistakes, but definitely not outstandingly slow. At the same time, I perk up my ears to listen to gossip from the embroidery room next door. Who spoke to which guard for too long? Which master is more eccentric? The Imperial kitchen is cutting corners again today. Information is power. It's the source of slacking pleasure. Third move, palace life and health preservation. Nourishing body and mind, my exclusive corner. By the window, good ventilation. Sunlight. An essential artifact is a chipped coarse pottery cup, brewing cheap aged jasmine tea leaves. Hidden at the bottom of the sewing basket. Roasted pumpkin seeds in an oil paper packet. A picture book with dog-eared pages. The cover reads biographies of virtuous women. Inside it's about a romantic scholar meeting a beautiful lady. Don't ask, it's for learning womanly virtues. When tired, take a sip of the tasteless tea. When done, crack a few pumpkin seeds. Spit the shells precisely on the windowsill. The wind blows them away without a trace. If really bored, secretly take out the book and read a couple of lines. Then cautiously glance at the door. Fourth move, spiritual victory. Self-amusement, watching others rack their brains to curry favor with Auntie Tanxiang, to get a second-class palace maid position, and to get noticed by the masters. Working like a dog, my heart remains calm. I even feel like cracking some seeds. Promotion. HMPH, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Look at some of the masters. Favored today, out of favor tomorrow. Scheming and fighting, living 100 times harder than us. How can they be as carefree as me? The monthly salary isn't much, but it's enough for me to buy snacks and storybooks. The work isn't heavy, it's enough to support myself. Having no desires is the key to an unassailable position. This is my palace maid survival philosophy. I thought my life of slacking would continue peacefully and uneventfully. I could last until I am 25 and get released from the palace with my meager savings to realize my dream of a pastoral retirement. Until that afternoon, Auntie Tanxiang was summoned by the Imperial Household Department for questioning. Before she left, she pointed at me. Lu Shu in the East Warm Pavilion. The casual dragon robe the Emperor is wearing, changing into. Carefully inspect it for me. See if there are any snags or loose threads. Once it's done, leave it there. I'll come to collect it myself later. Do you hear me? Yes, Auntie, I replied listlessly. Dragon robes, what a hassle. They are incredibly precious. Afraid of a loose thread even when holding it in my hand. As soon as Auntie Sandalwood left, the atmosphere in the room immediately became much more relaxed. I resigned myself to fetching that bright yellow imperial robe. This fabric, this embroidery, this gold thread. How many acres of land would it be worth? I spread it flat on the clean cutting board and examined it inch by inch. My eyes were almost blind from looking. My neck was sore, my back was sore. Mental victory method activated. As I inspected it, my mouth started to chatter uncontrollably again. The golden dragon embroidered on the cuff is really well done. How much effort must it have taken? The embroiderer's eyes must have been strained to the point of blindness. All just to show off when worn. With this money, it would be so much better to repair the roads outside the palace. I carefully turned over the lining. and checked the inside of the lapel. A very hidden small tie was a bit loose. I took out needle and thread, slowly threaded the needle, and began to reinforce it. My mouth was still not idle. Being an emperor must be quite tiring, right? Poring over memorials every day, meeting with officials, and still having to deal with the 3,000 beauties of the harem. Just thinking about it gives me a headache. It's better to be like me. One person full, the whole family not hungry. But speaking of which, being an emperor is also annoying. When eating, each dish cannot exceed 3 bites. Afraid of being poisoned. Hiss. What's the point of the imperial kitchen pondering so many dishes every day? The emperor can't even eat a full meal. It's truly sad. I finished sewing the tie, tied a firm and inconspicuous knot, and nodded with satisfaction. Inspection complete. Confirmed not a single loose thread, not a single flaw. I carefully folded the imperial robe, and placed it according to regulations in the corner of the east warm pavilion. On a tray covered with yellow silk. I clapped my hands, task accomplished. Completely unaware that in the winter warm pavilion, behind the huge multi-treasure display used to block the wind, there seemed to be an extremely faint sound like being choked, and then a cough that was forcibly held back. The next few days were calm and uneventful. The wave of personnel optimization after the new emperor's enthronement seemed to have gradually subsided. I hadn't heard of anyone actually being dismissed. My slacker routine continued steady as an old dog. Until that noon, when a matter of moderate importance occurred in the palace. The Empress Dowager's beloved pet, a Persian cat with pure white fur and odd eyes, named Snowball, had disappeared. The Empress Dowager was extremely anxious. An imperial decree was sent to all 6 palaces. Whoever finds it will be heavily rewarded. The entire harem was mobilized. In the flower bushes, on the roof beams, palace maids and eunuchs were everywhere peeking around. The Imperial Wardrobe Bureau also received a notice to assist in the search. Auntie Sandalwood frowned. Everyone be alert. Keep your eyes sharp while you work. That cat is precious, don't hurt it. Whoever discovers it, report it quickly. The crowd responded. Their minds began to stir. A great reward. Perhaps I can be transferred to Sinning Palace to serve. Even the work at noon was done absent-mindedly. Ears perked up high, listening to the sounds outside. I have no interest in this. A great reward? It's nothing more than a little more silver. Or change places to serve. Where else is not serving people? Sinning Palace has stricter rules and is more tiring. Not worth it. I still guard my window-side throne. Slowly sorting a pile of silk threads. Sorting by color. Sorting by length. Winding the bobbin. Tedious but brainless. Outside the window, a chubby tabby cat walked with elegant steps, strolling along the base of the wall. It's not afraid of people, even a bit arrogant. I recognize it. A regular at the imperial kitchen, known as Fatty Orange, living a plump life by being cute and catching mice. At this moment it had something shiny and oily in its mouth. I squinted and looked. Good heavens. A fishtail not much shorter than its body, fried to a golden crisp. It's clearly a tribute fried fish just out of the imperial kitchen. Fatty Orange carried its spoils, walked to the shady grass under my windowsill, its usual napping spot. It put down the fishtail, looked around vigilantly, then began to enjoy its feast, eating with such gusto. I watched it, then looked at the dry silk threads in my hand. Humans are not as good as cats. I sighed, facing Fatty Orange outside the window. Began my daily routine. Look, even cats are better than people these days. Fatty Orange, focused on eating, ignored me. Look at you. So fat you look like a ball. Your fur is so shiny. And you're carrying tribute fried fish from the imperial kitchen. It's hard for us to even get a bit of minced meat. Fatty Orange licked its paws and still ignored me. And me? Working hard, waking up early and going to bed late. At noon, just a bowl of winter melon soup so thin you can see your reflection. My mouth is so bland it could grow birds. The more I talked, the more excited I got, feeling very immersed. And look at our new master. I changed the subject, lowering my voice. But the desire to complain burned fiercely. It's been 2 months since his enthronement, right? The atmosphere in the palace is as tense as a drawn bowstring. Optimize this, optimize that. Who are you trying to scare? If you have the guts, actually optimize a few and show us. All bark and no bite. I pouted, picked up the half-wound bobbin. If you ask me, the old emperor first, His Majesty, instead of bothering us poor souls, why not manage the imperial kitchen? Look at the endless variety of pastries made for the masters. Look at what we're given to eat. Even pig slop is considered too good. Those steamed buns are hard enough to be used as bricks. And the pickled vegetables, after eating them you'll be drinking from the water vat all night. This is blatant exploitation, I concluded indignantly. Fat Orange finally finished its fishtail. It licked its paws contentedly and washed its face. Then in the direction of my windowsill, it let out a lazy, incredibly human-like meow. Hey, my temper flared. Meowing what? I shook my fist at it. Showing off that you have fish to eat, huh? Be careful, I'll report you for stealing imperial goods. Let you taste what it's like to be optimized out of a job. Fat Orange gave me a side-eye. With a flick of its tail it swaggered off with an arrogant gait. And disappeared into the bushes to sleep, leaving me alone, getting angry at the half-wound silk threadboard. I sat down huffily, picked up my storybook, and prepared to comfort my wounded soul with a charming scholar. As soon as I opened it, I felt that my previous complaints were still unfinished. Towards the direction where Fat Orange disappeared, I viciously added, if I were to become emperor, the first thing I'd do is dismiss the incompetent imperial kitchen staff. Let everyone have meat to eat every meal. The second thing, give all the cats in the harem a pie. They can claim fish with their pie. So that Fat Orange is like you don't steal food. I even found myself laughing. Become emperor? In my next life, I shook my head, and immersed myself back in the world of the charming scholar. completely unaware that, behind me, the shelves lined against the wall, piled high with cloth, seemed to emit another extremely brief sound, like being choked by saliva, and a suppressed laugh. Snowball had been missing for 3 days, causing chaos in the harem. Finally, a young eunuch on duty in the imperial garden, in the deepest part of a rockery cave, found and carried out this noble feline master. It was said that Snowball had simply found a quiet place to sleep, and only came out to meow when hungry. A false alarm. The Empress Dowager was overjoyed and heavily rewarded the young eunuch. The harem returned to peace. But I felt that something was not quite right. I couldn't quite pinpoint it, but I felt a chill down my spine. Auntie Tanzhang's gaze towards me occasionally held an indescribable complexity. When passing by the East Warm Pavilion, or near those tall cloth shelves, I felt unseen eyes on me from the shadows. I'd suddenly turn around, and there would be nothing there. An illusion? Must be reading too many storybooks lately. Getting paranoid, I shook my head, and continued my pursuit of laziness. This day, it was my turn to go to the Imperial Household Department to collect the Imperial Attire Bureau's monthly allowance, cloth, silk thread, needles and threads, soap and such. Carrying things is a strenuous task, but the benefit is being able to get out and get some fresh air. No need to listen to Auntie Tanxiang chanting scriptures in the Imperial wardrobe. I pulled a small cart, slowly walked towards the storeroom of the Imperial Household Department, passing by the 9-bend corridor by Taya Pond. From afar I saw the other end of the corridor. A group of people surrounded a figure in imperial yellow. The new emperor. My scalp tingled, although I am just an insignificant third-class palace maid. But rules must not be broken. Quickly pulled the small cart, retreated to the most inconspicuous corner by the roadside, lowered my head, hands clasped, and held my breath. Tried to shrink myself into a shadow. The emperor's procession drew nearer. I kept my eyes on my nose and my nose on my heart, staring at the worn-out tips of my shoes. Silently recited in my heart, "Can't see me, can't see me, can't see me." Footsteps stopped in front of me. A corner of imperial yellow fabric appeared in my lowered gaze. My heart skipped a beat. It's over, it's over, it's over. Have I done anything wrong recently? The dragon robe is inspected very carefully. I wasn't caught slacking off on the spot. A young calm voice, with no discernible emotion, sounded from above. "Which palace are you from?" I quickly knelt down, buried my head even lower. "Your servant is from the imperial wardrobe." "What is your name?" "Your servant's name is Willow Kakin." The air was silent for a few seconds. I felt the gaze from above seemed to linger on me for a moment. He repeated my name. His tone was a little playful. "You may rise." I quickly got up, still with my head lowered. Pulling the cart. "Where are you going?" "To your majesty, to the Imperial Household Department to collect rations." "Oh, go ahead." "Yes, your majesty." I felt as if I had been granted a great favor. Quickly pulled the small cart and scurried away, only when I had walked a considerable distance did I dare to look back. The emperor and his entourage had already left. Strange. Why would his majesty the emperor ask the name of a third-class palace maid? Could it be that someone in the imperial wardrobe is about to be in trouble? I shivered, decided to be more careful when I returned. After collecting the rations, I pulled the heavy small cart back to the imperial wardrobe. Halfway there, passing by the back wall of the imperial kitchen, a rich soul-stirring aroma wafted out. It was freshly baked date paste and yam cake, and osmanthus sugar-steamed chestnut flour cake. The glutton in my stomach cried out wildly. My steps involuntarily slowed down. My eyes uncontrollably drifted towards the imperial kitchen, the small side door from which the aroma emanated. Just then the door opened. A plump, greasy-aproned apprentice chef poked his head out, holding a large tray in his hand. Inside were pastry crumbs and misshapen scraps. He looked around, then skillfully poured the tray into a broken wooden barrel in the corner designated for kitchen waste. Pastry crumbs. My eyes lit up instantly. This is good stuff. 100 times better than the hard pastries we palace maids get. The apprentice turned and went back. I looked around, no one was there. A godsend. The survival rules of a slacking palace maid. Supplementary clauses. Never miss an opportunity to improve my meals. I quickly pulled the small cart to the side and hid it behind the bushes. Then, like a thief, I tiptoed to that broken wooden barrel, peeking in. Today's luck is really good. Besides pastry crumbs, there were also a few pieces that were clearly crushed, but overall still intact date paste and yam cakes. I swallowed my saliva. I looked around to confirm it was safe. With the speed of lightning and thunder and the ringing of bells, I reached out to grab, just as my fingertips were about to touch that most intact date paste and yam cake. A majestic, familiar, and clearly displeased cough sounded not far behind me. I was scared out of my wits. My hand froze in midair. Stiffly, inch by inch, I turned my head. I saw Auntie Tanxiang, who had appeared on the small path not far behind me at some point. Her face was ashen, her eyes wide open, staring intently at my hand reaching for the kitchen waste bucket. Her gaze could have burned me on the spot. Barbecue Q7. Caught red-handed. Stealing kitchen waste. In front of the head palace maid. This crime can be big or small. If you consider it big, it's stealing imperial kitchen offerings and causing chaos in the palace. Enough to get a beating and be thrown out. My pastoral dream is really going to be dashed this time. I might even have to pay for medical expenses. Auntie Tanxiang walked over step by step. Each step felt like it was stepping on my heart. She walked up to me, looked at my pale face, then looked at the meager pastry crumbs in the kitchen waste bucket. She almost gritted her teeth as she called my name. My knees went weak. I immediately knelt down properly with a crying voice. "Auntie, I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again." I was just too hungry. The steamed buns at noon were too hard. I didn't eat enough. I cried sincerely and emotionally. Auntie Tanxiang looked at me. Her chest heaved violently, clearly very angry. She took a deep breath, as if trying to calm her emotions. Finally she let out a long helpless sigh. Get up. I shakily got up. Tears and snot smeared all over my face. Auntie Tanxiang frowned, looking at my dirty hands with disgust, as if it wasn't embarrassing enough. Wash your hands clean. So dirty. Finished washing. Go to the camphor wood chest in the back of the storeroom, the one on the right. There's a package at the bottom. Take it yourself and get lost quickly. Don't let anyone see. I was stunned. I forgot to cry. Auntie Tanxiang got even angrier seeing me standing there dumbfounded. Hurry up and go. Are you waiting for me to send an 8-bearer sedan chair to carry you? Yes. Your servant will go now. Thank you, Auntie. Please, Auntie, have mercy. It was like waking from a dream. I scrambled to the nearest water gang to wash my hands. Then I ran back to the storeroom in the backyard of the Imperial Wardrobe. I felt my way along the innermost row of camphor wood chests against the wall from memory. I lifted the lid of a chest. A faint scent of camphor mixed with a sweet aroma of pastries. I reached inside and fumbled at the bottom of the chest. I felt something wrapped tightly in thick oil paper. I took it out and opened a corner of the oil paper. My eyes widened instantly. It was a whole package perfectly shaped. The aroma was intoxicating. There were still warm date paste and yam cakes and osmanthus sugar steamed new chestnut flour cakes. I cradled this package of precious still warm pastries. My nose suddenly felt a little sore. Even the stern and rigid Auntie Wanxiang had such a side. She knew I sometimes went to pick up leftovers. She didn't expose me. She even secretly left me good ones. I leaned against the camphor wood chest holding the pastries. My heart was filled with mixed emotions. I carefully wrapped the pastries and hid them in my embrace. As I walked out of the storeroom, the sun was just right. I happily patted the pastries in my embrace. I was planning where to hide to enjoy them slowly later. As soon as I reached the back door of the Imperial Wardrobe, I bumped into someone. It was Chun Ya. She was panting, her little face flushed red. She grabbed me. Sister Shu, quick, come with me. Something big has happened. My heart skipped a beat. I instinctively covered the pastries in my embrace. What happened? Did Auntie Tanxiang look for me? Did she change her mind? Chun Ya stomped her feet anxiously. It's not Auntie. It's His Majesty. His Majesty's oral decree. He summoned you to the East Warm Pavilion of the Hall of Mental Cultivation immediately. Boom. It was like a thunderclap in my mind. The pastries in my embrace instantly lost their appeal. The Emperor, the Hall of Mental Cultivation, the East Warm Pavilion. Isn't that where I inspected the dragon robe last time? Could the dragon robe really have a problem? Or did they discover I was slacking off? Did someone report me for eating melon seeds and reading storybooks? Or the most terrifying thing, were my treasonous complaints overheard and reported by someone? Stealing tribute and not finishing it would at most result in a beating. But speaking ill of the Emperor is a crime punishable by death. My face turned pale. My knees started to tremble. Sister Shu, don't just stand there. Hurry up. The eunuch delivering the decree is waiting ahead. Chun Ya pushed me anxiously. It's over. This time I am finished. I was like a puppet. Chun Ya half pushed half dragged me to the front courtyard of the Imperial Wardrobe. A middle-aged eunuch with a pale beardless face and well-dressed attire was waiting there with his hands behind his back. Auntie Tanxiang was also by his side. Her expression was even worse than mine. Miss Lu Shu, please come with us. His Majesty is waiting. The eunuch flicked his horsetail whisk and turned to leave. I mechanically followed him. Auntie Tanxiang was behind me. In a voice only we could hear. Control your mouth. Don't say a single word, you should NT. Otherwise even immortals couldn't save you. I wanted to cry but had no tears. Auntie, this time, I am afraid I really can't control my mouth. Following the eunuch all the way, I passed through layers of palace gates and arrived outside the East Warm Pavilion of the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Waiting. He dropped 2 words and went in by himself. I stood at the door, looking at the beautifully closed, lacquered red gate carved with intricate dragon patterns. It felt like standing at the gates of hell. Time ticked by agonizingly. My mind was a mess. Oh no, the door opened. The eunuch who had just appeared poked his head out, his expression blank. Come in, His Majesty summons you. I took a deep breath. If it's fortune, it's not misfortune. If it's misfortune, it can't be avoided. I stepped into the East Warm Pavilion. A faint, elegant scent of dragon saliva incense wafted towards me. Someone was sitting behind the desk. Wearing a bright yellow casual robe, his posture was upright. He was looking down at a memorial on the table. This is the new Emperor Chu Yu. I quickly knelt down with a thud. My forehead pressed against the cold carpet. My voice trembled uncontrollably. Your servant Lu Shu requests an audience. Long live His Majesty, long live, long live, long live. Get up. I shakily got up, still with my head bowed. Come closer, the Emperor said calmly. I shuffled forward with small steps. Closer. I shuffled forward a couple more steps. I was about 7 or 8 steps away from the desk. I struggled to lift my neck, which felt as heavy as 1,000 pounds inch by inch. My gaze finally met the eyes behind the desk. They were deep and calm like a cold pool. At this moment, in the depths of that pool, there seemed to be a faint, unfathomable hint of interest rippling. He opened his mouth and called my name. He seemed to be confirming. A 3rd-rank palace maid from the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau. 10 years in the palace. 10 years? He tapped his fingertips lightly on the smooth tabletop. You're quite an old hand in the palace. I held my breath, not knowing what he wanted to say. Palace rules. What crime is it to speak ill of one's master? Boom. The taut string in my mind snapped completely. He knew. With a thud, I knelt down heavily again. My whole body trembled like a falling leaf in the autumn wind. Tears instantly welled up. Your Majesty, spare my life. Your Majesty, spare my life. I cried out. Fear overwhelmed reason. Your servant deserves to die. Your servant will never dare again. Please, Your Majesty, show mercy. Spare your servant's dog life. Your servant still has an 80-year-old mother at home. Ah no, my cousin is waiting for me to care for him in his old age. I spoke incoherently. I kowtowed like pounding garlic. My forehead hurt terribly, but I didn't dare stop. Your servant was just tired from working. Nonsense is not to be taken seriously. Your Majesty, you are wise and mighty, diligent in governing and loving the people, a wise ruler throughout the ages. Your servant's admiration for Your Majesty is like the endless flow of a mighty river. My head hurts from the noise. The Emperor's voice interrupted my unorganized flattery. With a hint of imperceptible helplessness, I immediately stopped talking and only dared to sniffle quietly. Get up and speak. At this moment my legs are so weak I can't stand up. I almost crawled up on all fours. Tears and snot smeared all over my face. The Emperor looked at my tear-streaked face. His brow furrowed almost imperceptibly. He stood up from behind his desk. His imperial yellow figure circled the desk, walking towards me step by step. Is he going to finish me off personally? I closed my eyes in fear. The sound of footsteps stopped in front of me. A clear, pleasant scent of ambergris enveloped me. The expected thunderous rage did not descend. Instead, a slender hand, holding a plain white clean handkerchief, was handed to me right under my eyelids. I was stunned, forgot to cry. I opened my eyes blankly. Wipe it. His voice was flat. He pushed the handkerchief forward again. I felt like I was under a spell. Completely clueless, the Emperor handed me a handkerchief to wipe my tears and snot. What kind of play is this? Holding the willow catkin, his tone deepened slightly. I shivered. I quickly took the obviously valuable handkerchief with both hands. I wiped my face haphazardly. I didn't dare to wipe too hard for fear of soiling it. Thank you. Shu Yu looked at my cautious, fearful of damaging the handkerchief appearance. He seemed to sigh almost imperceptibly. He turned and walked back to his desk and sat down. Do you know why I summoned you? Here comes the main point. My palms were sweating, clutching the handkerchief that carried warmth and fragrance. I chose to play dumb. Let me remind you. He leaned back slightly in the wide chair. His posture relaxed a bit. A few days ago, in the East Warm Pavilion of the Imperial Wardrobe Bureau, my heart skipped a beat. You said that a dish cannot exceed 3 bites when eating. You can't even eat a full meal. But coincidentally, those words made my vision go black. He heard it. He really heard it. And under the back wall of the Imperial kitchen, you said that people are inferior to cats. Lower-ranking palace maids are inferior to the cats in the Imperial kitchen. If you have free time to bother with them, you might as well manage the Imperial kitchen. My legs went weak again. He paused, looking at my ashen face. The corners of his lips seemed to curve into an extremely small arc. He seemed to suddenly remember something. Oh right, you also said that if you became emperor, the first thing you would do is abolish the Imperial kitchen's management. And let everyone have meat to eat every meal. The second matter, give all the cats in the harem a card and they can get fish with the card. Rumble, I feel like the top of my head is about to be split open. He didn't just hear it. He heard it all. Not a single word missed. I am done for. I am dead for sure. This time it's a dismemberment by 5 horses. Or 1,000 cuts. I was shaking like a sieve. Your servant deserves death. Your servant was just dizzy from hunger. Nonsense should not be taken seriously. Shu Yu interrupted me again. The teasing in his tone disappeared. It returned to calm. I didn't say I was going to punish you. I looked up sharply, looking at him in disbelief. Not punished? Those words. Your words, though disrespectful, are quite novel. Novel? Your Majesty calls this novel? Compared to those who are in front of me every day, only saying Your Majesty is wise, Your Majesty is brilliant, and Your Majesty is right. I was completely stunned. The Emperor is tired of flattery. He likes to hear people scold him, complain about him. What a strange hobby. Willow Catkins. I will give you an opportunity. An opportunity? What opportunity? A golden medal of exemption from death? From tomorrow onwards, you don't have to return to the Imperial Wardrobe. You will be transferred to the Hall of Mental Cultivation. My mouth fell open. I could fit an egg in it. Hall of Mental Cultivation? Serve the Emperor? Serve with ink and brush and attend to his daily life. Shu Yu seemed to see through my thoughts. His fingertips tapped lightly on the table. There are dedicated palace servants for that. You will still do your original job. Behind this East Warm Pavilion there is a small side room. You will stay there from now on. Not much work. Come at 9 a.m. and leave at 3 p.m. daily. The monthly salary will be given according to the standard of a first-class palace maid. First-class palace maid? Double the monthly salary? My eyes lit up instantly. What you need to do is very simple. Your true thoughts about slacking off work and slacking off in general. Speak them out as you normally would, as if no one else were here. Boom. Another clap of thunder. I finally understood. His Majesty the Emperor, he doesn't like to hear people scold him. He is eavesdropping, and now he's actually going to promote me and give me a raise. Just so I can move to another place, and continue to complain to him. Standing in the East Warm Pavilion of the magnificent Hall of Mental Cultivation, I felt like the whole world had become magical. My life as a slacking palace maid seemed to have taken a more bizarre turn. At exactly 9 a.m. the next day, I dawdled my way to the East Warm Pavilion of the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Shu Yu was not there, probably attending court. I took a deep breath, bypassed the huge display cabinet, Entered the small compartment. It wasn't large inside but had everything one needed and was by the window. On the desk there was even a brand new white porcelain cup. Next to it was a can of top-grade Biluakan tea. In the corner there was a small charcoal brazier. On top of it sat a shiny brass kettle. On the small low cabinet next to it was an exquisite snuff box. Inside it was neatly arranged. Various exquisite pastries. Next to it was a small dish of shelled pine nuts. This treatment was more than 10 levels higher than my window seat in the Imperial Wardrobe department. I looked around the warm and comfortable space. It felt like a dream. Faint footsteps and voices came from outside the door. It was Chu Yu returning. Everything was as usual, sitting behind the desk reviewing memorials. I sat stiffly, my body straight, afraid to even breathe. Should I eat, drink and talk as usual? Pretend the Emperor doesn't exist? What a joke. That's the Emperor, the son of heaven, the big boss with the power of life and death. Time ticked by second by second. I was on pins and needles. My gaze involuntarily drifted to the dish of shiny pine nuts in the snuff box. I cleared my throat, in the volume that only people nearby could hear, as I usually did in the Imperial Wardrobe department. I started talking to the dish of pine nuts. Look at these pine nuts. How cleanly they are shelled. How plump they are. How much effort did this take? How much manpower? I picked one up and put it in my mouth. Fragrant, truly fragrant. But these things are just snacks. With the manpower to shell these pine nuts, it would be better to make a few more steamers of substantial meat buns in the Imperial kitchen and give us workers a better meal. The sound of turning pages next door suddenly stopped. I belatedly realized what I had said. I quickly covered my mouth, just as I was regretting it so much I wanted to hit the wall. A clear laugh came from next door. The Emperor? He laughed? I held the teacup stunned. This world is too crazy. In the following days, my work gradually got on track, and my mindset underwent a subtle change. From the initial trepidation to the current freedom. Anyway, Chu Yu said, pretend he doesn't exist. He's been eavesdropping for more than a day or two anyway. Until one day a heavy rain fell. Outside lightning flashed, thunder roared and the wind howled. I was huddled in my small compartment, feeling a little panicked. I am not afraid of the dark or ghosts, just afraid of thunder. I hugged a soft cushion and curled up in the comfortable armchair, trying to distract myself with a storybook. Suddenly a thunderclap boomed overhead. I screamed in fright. The book in my hand dropped. Just then, Chu Yu opened the secret door, clearly startled by my scream just now. He stood at the secret door, looking at my pale, frightened face. His brow furrowed slightly. Afraid of thunder? I was still shaken. I could only nod dumbly. Chu Yu was silent for a moment. He raised his hand as if to do something. If you're scared, just cover your ears. After speaking, the secret door closed silently again, as if it had never been opened, leaving me alone. Just now, was it an illusion? His Majesty the Emperor specifically opened a secret door, just to tell me, if you're scared, cover your ears? I touched my ears. It seems I am really not that scared anymore. The rain stopped and the sky cleared. My work continued as usual. But after that incident, when I complained to the air, I would occasionally get distracted. I would imagine the person on the other side of the wall. What expression would they have when they heard my rambling words? Days flowed like water. My life as a secluded streamer became a secret unknown in the deep palace. Chu Yu still listened quietly. I still spoke without restraint. But some things changed without me realizing it. Sometimes I heard him worrying and sighing about court affairs. I would comfort him appropriately. Sometimes he caught a cold from staying up late. I would care for him. Each time he responded gently. Time flew by. This life passed unknowingly for more than half a year. One afternoon, I spoke softly. This servant has been in the palace for almost 11 years. Hearing this, the sound of rustling memorials next door stopped. According to palace rules, in another 4 years, this servant will be 25, and will be able to leave the palace. Saying this, I felt an inexplicable emptiness in my heart. A long silence. Finally his voice came. Still calm and unwavering, he responded. Then came the sound of the vermilion brush falling again. My heart also sank with the sound of writing. This made me smile bitterly and mock myself. It's fine. Let it be this way. Between Chu Yu and me, a peculiar tacit understanding seemed to have formed. I would speak, and occasionally say a word or two through the wall. On that day, as usual, I came to the Hall of Mental Cultivation. Pushing open the door of the East Warm Pavilion, I found the atmosphere unusual. Auntie Tanxiang was also here. She stood by with her hands clasped, her face pale. Her forehead was covered in cold sweat. Behind the desk, Chu Yu sat upright, his expression colder than I had ever seen. A trembling eunuch knelt on the ground. My heart skipped a beat, as I instinctively tried to retreat. Lu Shu, come in. I walked in with a forced smile, kneeling beside Auntie Tanxiang. Look at this. Chu Yu raised his hand. A memorial was thrown onto the carpet in front of me. I picked it up doubtfully and opened it. I picked it up in confusion and opened it to see. It was a memorial report on the impeachment of an official. The target of the impeachment was none other than Tanxiang, the female official in charge of the Imperial Wardrobe. The charge was misappropriating fabric from the storeroom. The evidence was conclusive. My mind went blank. I suddenly looked at Aunt Tanxiang beside me. Her face was as pale as paper. She just kowtowed heavily. Nothing to say? What does that mean? Impossible. Aunt Tanxiang was always upright. How could she do such a thing? Your Majesty, this is impossible. Aunt Tanxiang is not that kind of person. Someone must have framed her. Chu Yu's icy gaze fell on me. Storeroom records. 3 bolts of brocade were missing. And this brocade was found at the bottom of a box in Tanzhang's office. Witnesses and evidence are all present. How do you explain it? Aunt Tanzhang's body swayed. She still didn't speak. Storeroom records can be forged. Things can be secretly placed to frame someone. As for the witnesses, I looked at the trembling eunuch on the ground. A thought flashed through my mind like lightning. This little eunuch, he always seemed honest, but once, when I was on duty early, I saw him secretly carrying a bag, sneaking away from the back door of the Imperial Wardrobe storeroom. At the time I didn't pay much attention, thinking he was just taking something normally. Now that I think about it, I pointed at the little eunuch and said loudly, "This servant can testify. On the 7th day of last month around the hour of Shen, this servant personally saw this person from the back door of the Imperial Wardrobe storeroom, carrying a bag and leaving in a hurry." His demeanor was suspicious. The little eunuch suddenly looked up at me in terror. You are slandering me." "Am I slandering you? Check the storeroom's entry and exit records for that day. Ask the people on duty at the time and you'll know. Also, those who accused Aunt Tanxiang. Your Majesty, don't you find it strange? Why are they all people who had grudges with Aunt Tanxiang, or were punished by her? Can their testimony be fully trusted?" I took a breath and looked at Aunt Tanxiang. "Aunt, why don't you speak? Who forced you to confess?" Aunt Tanxiang looked at me, her eyes suddenly reddening. It was my worthless nephew. He gambled outside the palace, and owed you serious loans. Someone held a knife to his throat. I had no choice. So that's how it is. She was threatened with the life of her loved one, forced to admit to this baseless charge. I turned to Chu Yu, and kowtowed heavily. "You heard it. Aunt was coerced. She is innocent. Please your Majesty investigate thoroughly." Chu Yu looked at me in silence. The coldness in his deep eyes seemed to have faded slightly. The little eunuch collapsed on the ground. My heart was also in my throat. After an unknown amount of time, Chu Yu finally spoke. He ordered this young eunuch to be interrogated strictly, and to find out who instructed him to steal the brocade from the treasury. And who coerced Tanxiang. Tanxiang, you are negligent in your management and your relatives are out of control. You are fined 1 year's salary and given 20 strokes of the cane. Considering your many years of hard work, and that you were coerced, the caning will be temporarily suspended. You will be confined to your quarters for 1 month to reflect on your actions. As for you," his gaze finally fell on me. With a complex scrutiny, my heart tightened. "You dared to speak out of turn, and roar before the emperor, considering your eagerness to protect others. And that what you said is not false. Your merits and demerits cancel each other out and you will not be held accountable." I suddenly looked up, staring at him in disbelief. He didn't punish me? Chu Yu had already looked away and waved his hand. "You may all withdraw. Thank you, your Majesty, thank you for your grace." I quickly kowtowed along with them. Aunt Tanzhang's crisis was averted. The person behind the scenes was a steward in the Imperial Household Department who had a past grievance with Tanxiang. He was quickly apprehended, dismissed from his post and investigated. The Imperial Wardrobe Bureau returned to peace. Aunt Tanzhang's gaze towards me completely changed. After this incident, I stayed in my small room, but my mood had changed somewhat. One day I said earnestly to the wall, "Neighbor, thank you." The sound of rustling memorials from next door paused. "Thank you for what?" "Thank you for being willing to listen to this humble servant's nonsense." I smiled. "And thank you for not kicking me out again." There was a moment of silence from next door. Then I heard a very faint chuckle. "It's good that you know." Life returned to its peculiar peace. One day I was really bored, and couldn't help but ask softly towards the wall, "Neighbor, do you think 4 years is fast?" There was no response from next door, only the sound of rustling pens. I sighed. The emperor is busy with state affairs. How could he have time to ponder such a trivial matter as how many years a little palace maid has? Until she leaves the palace? I shook my head, forcing myself not to think about it. Just then, the secret door slid open silently again. Chu Yu stood behind the door. I stammered and quickly stood up. Chu Yu said nothing. He walked into my small room. I was so nervous I didn't dare to breathe. I lowered my head and stared